She owns nothing but the rags on her back. This elderly widow survives by cradling a stranger's infant outside a London tailor's shop while its mother stitches inside. Her payment? 1 cup of tea and a bread slice daily. Victorians called them crawlers, the poorest of the poor, too weak even to beg standing up. December 23, 1941. These twisted wildcats represent Wake Island's last hope, destroyed. For 16 days, VMF-211 pilots flew these battered fighters against impossible odds, sinking 2 Japanese destroyers before ammunition ran out. Now Japanese soldiers photograph their victory. The American defenders are already being marched toward prisoner-of-war camps few would survive. April 27, 1882. Helen of Waldeck clutches her bouquet, marrying into Britain's royal family with a secret burden. Her husband Leopold is a hemophiliac. One fall could kill him. She knows she might pass this royal disease to her children. Within 2 years, Leopold would be dead from a minor injury, leaving Helen a widow at 23. May 27, 1919. 4 men redraw the world's borders around a single table: Wilson, Lloyd George, Orlando, Clemenceau. They're creating the League of Nations to prevent future wars. The cruel irony? America's Senate will reject Wilson's own creation. Without the world's emerging superpower, the League becomes toothless. 20 years later, global war returns with unprecedented vengeance. Why is this Texas girl dressed as a boy? In 1900s Austin, poor families gave daughters their brothers' hand-me-downs without shame. Fabric was expensive, childhood was short. That straw hat at her feet cost more than her entire outfit. She'll likely work cotton fields beside men before turning 12, making her masculine clothes brutally practical. Charlie Chaplin, already the world's most recognizable face, walks anonymously into a San Francisco theater hosting a Chaplin look-alike contest. He competes without revealing his identity. The judges scrutinize his mustache, his waddle, his cane. The verdict? 20th place. The real Chaplin lost to 19 imitations. Fame had made him invisible in his own skin. August 1929. The Dodge heiresses pose in avant-garde elegance for Vanity Fair, dripping with automobile fortune. Weeks later, Wall Street will collapse. But these socialites won't feel the depression. Their inherited millions remain untouchable. While breadlines form outside, the Dodge sisters will continue hosting lavish parties, their glamorous world hermetically sealed from America's suffering. Chicago, 1922. A police officer measures this woman's swimsuit, it's 1 inch too short. She faces arrest, fines, possibly jail time for showing her knees on a public beach. Hundreds of women were cited that summer under morality laws dictating fabric length. Within 5 years, these same beaches would welcome flappers in far less, making this arrest absurdly obsolete. Manhattan, 1892. This vendor sells survival, not just snacks. His hot potatoes, nicknamed Mickeys, serve double duty, affordable food for immigrant workers and makeshift hand warmers tucked into threadbare coat pockets. For a penny, you bought warmth lasting hours through brutal New York winters. When the potato finally cooled, you ate your heater. Nothing wasted. Nothing romantic. 13 former slaves pooled their meager savings in 1882 Richmond to buy a printing press. Their weapon? Truth. The Richmond Planet exposed lynchings, fought Jim Crow laws, and demanded justice when white newspapers stayed silent. Editor John Mitchell Jr. survived multiple assassination attempts for his fearless reporting. These weren't just journalists, they were revolutionaries armed with ink instead of rifles. November 1983. Wilson Goode celebrates becoming Philadelphia's first black mayor, a breakthrough moment promising change. 2 years later, he'll authorize police to drop a bomb on a residential neighborhood targeting the MOVE organization. 11 dead, including 5 children. 61 homes incinerated. His triumphant smile here makes what comes next unbearable to reconcile. Progress and tragedy, inseparable. Los Angeles, 1935. Judges with clipboards scrutinize women's bodies like livestock at auction, measuring thighs and rating smiles while crowds gawk. These bathing beauties smile through the humiliation. Winner gets $50 and fleeting fame. Some will leverage this degradation into Hollywood contracts. Most will simply return to secretary jobs, their swimsuit measurements recorded in newspapers for eternity. December 30, 1865. In colonial Bombay, a boy is born who'll capture empire's contradictions in prose. Rudyard Kipling will write beloved children's tales, Mowgli, Baloo, Kim, while penning poetry justifying Britain's imperial rule as the white man's burden. By 1907, his literature's first English Nobel laureate. His legacy remains impossibly divided, enchanting storyteller and empire's propagandist, forever inseparable. Tombstone's minds fall silent forever. Not from exhausted veins, but drowning, unstoppable underground water floods every shaft while silver prices collapse. The town that survived Wyatt Earp's gunfight, Apache raids, and devastating fires finally surrenders to economics and geology. Miners packed their belongings. Tombstone's reputation promised it was too tough to die. Today proves even legends eventually suffocate. USS Kentucky glides toward the scrapyard, a warship that never fought. 72% complete when World War II ended, she sat rusting for 13 years, too expensive to finish, too valuable to scrap immediately. Thousands of workers built her hull expecting glory. Instead, she becomes razor blades and car parts, the Navy's most expensive monument to a war that ended too soon. Late 1890s. A brother and sister stand frozen for the camera's long exposure, their pony held perfectly still for precious seconds. Moving would ruin the expensive glass plate negative. That pony represents their family's modest prosperity, valuable enough to photograph, humble enough to share between siblings. In 20 years, one might die in Europe's trenches. The pony will be forgotten first. December 1957. While Great Balls of Fire rockets up the charts, Jerry Lee Lewis secretly marries his 13-year-old cousin Myra. His 22, at fame's peak. When British reporters expose the marriage months later, his career detonates instantly. Concerts cancelled. Records banned. The rock and roll rebel who thrilled millions becomes an industry pariah overnight. Myra's childhood? Collateral damage. How do you move an entire city? This Milan stagecoach, the diligence, carried passengers, mail, commerce, and news across 19th century Europe before railways existed. Inside, strangers endured days of cramped misery together, arriving bruised from rutted roads. Bandits stalked these coaches like prey. Yet this wooden box represented cutting-edge transportation, the fastest way to traverse continents. Your Amazon package travels faster than nobles once did. Sunlight pierces Grand Central's windows like divine spotlight, illuminating travelers in celestial beams. Photographers rushed to capture this fleeting magic before Manhattan's skyscraper boom stole it forever. They were right, surrounding towers soon blocked these sun rays permanently. This photograph preserves an impossible moment, when America's busiest terminal briefly resembled a cathedral. Progress buried the light. Only the memory remains. A dancer performs the automobile age's most absurd publicity stunt, balancing EN point atop a Chevrolet radiator ornament. One wobble means disaster. But Chevrolet wants you mesmerized by engineering so solid it supports human weight. The radiator cap costs $3. Her hospital bills if she falls? 50 times that. Nobody questioned why proving car durability required risking a woman's spine. 2 Johns, 1 barely concealed contempt. Kennedy towers over Diefenbaker with Hollywood charm while the Canadian Prime Minister scowls, already sensing the Americans' condescension. Behind closed doors, JFK called him that boring son of a bitch. Diefenbaker returned the hatred, nearly wrecking the alliance by refusing nuclear missiles. This photo captures diplomacy's fakest smile and history's most dysfunctional political friendship. Rockefeller Center rises from Depression-era rubble, the world's largest private construction project during America's darkest economic hour. While millions stood in breadlines, John D. Rockefeller Jr. kept 40,000 workers employed building this Art Deco palace. Critics called it vanity. He called it patriotism. Either way, desperate men had paychecks. The limestone towers symbolized defiance. Even collapsing, capitalism builds cathedrals. January 24, 1972. Two hunters encounter a wild man attacking from the jungle. It's Shoiki Yokoi, a Japanese soldier who's been hiding in Guam for 27 years, still fighting World War II. He survived on rats, frogs, and unshakable duty. When he finally lands in Japan, Yokoi weeps, "I am ashamed that I have returned alive." His war never ended. Pablo Escobar's accountants had an unusual expense report line, $2,500 monthly for rubber bands. Not for office supplies, for bundling cash mountains so vast they literally rotted from rat urine and water damage. Escobar lost 10% of his fortune annually to decay and rodents. He had so much money that spending it became physically impossible. Wealth transformed into a logistical nightmare requiring industrial quantities of elastic. 1920s, Isle of Lewis. Women slice peat from ancient bogs, Scotland's poorest fuel for its poorest people. Each brick weighs heavy, backs bend for hours in cold drizzle harvesting compressed vegetation 10,000 years old. Coal costs money they don't have. Peat is free but demands brutal labor. Men work elsewhere. Women carry Scotland's Western Isles on their spines, one soggy brick at a time. December 31, 1946, more than a year after Japan's surrender, Harry Truman finally signs the paper ending World War II. Why the delay? Legal technicalities, occupation zones, treaty negotiations. Soldiers already home, rebuilding lives. But officially, they were still at war. With one signature, Truman closes history's deadliest chapter. Tomorrow, 1947 begins without a single nation legally at war. It won't last. October 1956. Elvis Presley, the dangerous rebel corrupting America's youth, rolls up his sleeve on national television for the polio vaccine. Instantly, millions of teenagers who worshipped him lined up for their shots. Public health officials had struggled for months. Elvis accomplished it in one broadcast. His hips were too suggestive for TV, but his arms saved countless lives. Fame redirected toward purpose. Broadway, 1928. Photographer Hal Fife captures actress Lenore Ulrich in dramatic shadow, the woman who scandalized audiences playing murderous, sensual characters when female roles meant virginal innocence. She chose dangerous parts, refusing Hollywood's sanitized stardom. This portrait reveals why. That gaze promises complexity, not compliance. Within 2 years, talking pictures will end her career. Silent film stars often couldn't survive their own voices. Peter Bash photographs an unknown Belgian dancer named Audrey Hepburn, weeks before Roman Holiday transforms her into cinema's most unlikely star. She survived Nazi-occupied Holland eating tulip bulbs to avoid starvation, trained as a ballerina, then accidentally became an actress. That traumatized girl's elegance will redefine Hollywood beauty. Gregory Peck insisted she receive equal billing. He knew stardom when he saw it. Ypres, 1915. Father and son huddle together reading the same letter from home, her handwriting connecting 3 people across hell's distance. She wrote knowing both men might die before reading it. They read knowing she waits terrified for telegrams. Statistically, one will survive the war. Maybe both die. Rarely both live. The letter will be found on whichever body falls first, blood-stained and precious.